brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Mornings at the Cabin. It's a warm one. 7 degrees. It is Wednesday morning, 7:01. Welcome along. It is Ollie, Lecter, and AJ with you now, gentlemen. In these increasingly dark mornings, do you stare at your Instagram accounts and do you wistfully follow the beautiful travel and tourism profiles that show you wonderful sights and sounds from places far yonder? Or do you try to avoid all of that because you realize that it could be some time before we get to do any of that and you don't want to get your hopes up unnecessarily? Are you already planning your next trip somewhere else, or are you trying to put that out of your mind, AJ?
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't really travel a whole lot to begin with, and my Instagram is filled with volleyball videos. So, no.
Your Instagram account sounds terrible. Scott?
I don't have Instagram.
Nice try.
Doesn't stop you dreaming.
I stare at other social media wistfully.
You thinking of going somewhere? You're not thinking of going somewhere?
No, not at all.
No? You just got, like, no plans at all? Like, nobody's even thinking about it?
I mean, we had plans.
Yeah.
They've all been ruined.
Yeah.
But we had plans. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I think back on those with a tear in my eye.
You see, I'm back to dreaming. I'm back to staring wistfully at other places and saying, you know what, the day will come.
What's the number one? What's your this is the place I definitely want to go?
Scandinavia is very high up on my list again. Looking forward to going back to Norway, maybe see Iceland for the first time, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Inspired a little bit. I've been watching a bit of Icelandic TV recently. And
As you do.
Crime dramas. You know, Scandinavian crime dramas. Can't get enough of them.
Don't get me started. A personal favorite of mine.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you weren't joking.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Welcome along, everybody. Ollie, Lecter, and AJ with you. So it turns out that the other two people in this room don't necessarily know quite as much about Scandinavian crime drama as you'd think, because of course you and I know a lot about it, and so we're just having a little education session over here because it's a thing.
I'm glad you're coming back to this because I need to know more.
Well, for some reason, I think possibly because they are the nicest places to live in the world and have the highest standard of living and nothing bad ever happens, Scandinavian countries spend a lot of time making television about very bad things happening.
The darkest things.
And music.
Yeah,
Scandinavian metal. Oh, my God.
There you go. You see him. And Björk.
Nothing darker than that.
And Björk as well. And that the two
Nothing
put together.
darker than that.
So clearly, like there's an absence of real-life weirdness for Scandinavians, and they have to go and make it through metal or Björk or crime drama. And the one I've been watching recently is called Trapped. It's only about 5 years old now. And it was at the time, and probably still is, the most expensive thing Icelandic television has ever produced. And yeah, I imagine it was it was probably a hit in Iceland at the time, but then it ended up on Netflix and on like French TV as well, and various different European TV channels, and everybody loved it. And it's a 10 episode. They're each about an hour long, 45 minutes long, and it tells the story of a small Icelandic community where a series of very bad things starts happening. And it's kind of like, it's a little bit, you can compare it to life in maybe the Northwest Territories as well, because it's a small town, it's very easily cut off from the rest of society, and then the few police officers that are in the small town have to start figuring out what's happened when some grisly things begin to occur.
Do you prefer that then? Like for a crime drama? Do
I prefer bad things happening in crime drama?
No,
yes.
Be able to relate it to yourself.
Oh, I see.
You're like in a small town, like you're like, oh, Northwest Territories, this could be us.
I don't necessarily prefer it. I mean, there's lots of crime dramas that I like that are set in big cities, but I like looking at the scenery. It's sort of It's nice to be able to occasionally take your mind off the latest murder by just sort of casting your eyes to the back of the screen and being like, oh, look at those pretty mountains.
Okay, yeah.
That's nice.
Remove yourself for 5 seconds.
And in fact, slightly weirdly, this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of on this whole, let's go and visit Iceland or something like that, because I've really enjoyed watching the backdrop to the show. So despite the fact that a lot of empirically very bad things have happened, in a way that you might not necessarily expect to draw people to your small village,
it's working for you.
It's working for me.
Yeah.
And I'm even the ferry that is a big part of the show is an actual ferry that sails from Denmark, and it takes about a day and a half to get to the Faroe Islands, which are north of the UK. Then it takes another day and a half to get to Iceland. I'm like, I want to do the ferry trip. Despite the fact this ferry is a very bad ferry in the show. I'm now super into the ferry. So I've been spending a lot of time just learning about the show, reading about the little village that it's filmed in, and
it's in Scandinavian, so it's like subtitles.
So it's in Icelandic. So Icelandic. Yeah, I mean, just like everyone else in Europe, half of it's in English anyway because they're speaking in English because why not?
Yep.
But the bits that are in Icelandic, you just get subtitles on the screen. Now, different people have different feelings about that. I am very comfortable reading subtitles off a screen.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, sometimes I find it actually makes it easier for me to actually figure out what is going on and stay up with the plot if I can see what the dialogue is written out in front of me.
I become a big subtitle fan.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter. Doesn't have to be a foreign language film. Just, put the subtitles on. Let me hear what you're saying. Let me read what you're saying, because half the time I can't actually make it out. Like Game of Thrones, I loved having subtitles on there because so many times there were conversations that were kind of like drowned out while, someone's getting killed in the background. And I want to know what the conversation was.
Can you keep it down? Look, I know you're dying, but like we'll get around to a funeral or something.
Yeah,
You'll
that's
have your
not
chance
important.
to shine.
I can see that happening. I need to know what they're saying.
Oh, I'm the exact opposite.
You don't like subtitles?
I can't do them because I read quite slowly, first of all.
Right.
And I end up focusing so much on reading the subtitles that I'm not paying attention to anything that's going on. And also when I read books, too, when I attempt to read books,
it's nothing but subtitles.
Yeah, it's nothing but subtitles. There's no moving pictures at all. And I only get 3 pages in, and I go, what did I just read? So I have the same thing with movies, too. I've just been reading it and go, what is happening?
I think I had, I think I started watching a show, and I don't know if it was on Netflix or what, but I think it just somehow got stuck on subtitles one time, and I was either too lazy or couldn't figure out how to get the subtitles off, and so I just kind of got used to them.
Oh, if you want me to not be lazy, then put subtitles on and watch how quickly I get off that couch. I will find a way to turn the subtitles off. I'll sit there with a foreign film and be like, I have no idea what's going on. I prefer this. I just can't stand them.
I mean, I have Lecter and I just looking at each other. I'm going to get you a book with the subtitles turned off and give it to you just as a gift. It's going to be a blank notebook.
Can I color in it?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what that allows. If you turn the subtitles off in a book, then the scene is yours.
Then I accept.
Okay.
I got the solution for you. Audiobook.
People have told me that quite a bit. Yep.
There you go.
I just, can't see that happening either.
No?
No.
What about, I hesitate to ask this, what about podcasts or radio?
I like podcasts.
Good.
The problem is the time that I find to do it doesn't really, I don't know, seem to jive.
Right.
Like going on a road trip, perfect.
Yeah.
That I could probably do an audiobook.
Yeah.
Because I really like podcasts when I'm driving, makes the time go by.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't know, maybe walk and Dre, 45 minutes, I can maybe squeeze in a short podcast, but
I think the average podcast episode of most things are, about 45 minutes.
yeah, I just prefer to listen to music and be in my own thoughts.
And radio, dead medium.
Yeah. Who would want to be a radio station these days? The news is next.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast, where we cut out all the great music and you're left with the rest.
Ollie, Lecter, and AJ with you, and Sarah's in the building with Mornings at the Cabin. I had to even remember the name of the show then. That is how perturbed we all are. And it is 20 to 8. It is 7 degrees outside. Welcome along to Sarah. How are you doing?
Good morning. Pretty good.
Good. Excellent. Better than anybody in here is doing. That's good to know. I wanted to spend a little bit of time just giving you missed the whole the chat about Icelandic crime drama, by the way.
I did not. I was listening at home.
Okay.
I heard it all.
Okay, good. I'm so relieved. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Rob Johnson, and he does the Yellowknife Fastball Association, and has been one of the key characters in the big redevelopment of the ballpark, Tommy Forrest Ballpark, getting the Award of Excellence from the NWT Recreation and Parks Association.
Very nice.
This week for all of his work, decades and decades of work. I mean, I think he has been involved in fastball here, in baseball,
every aspect.
In every aspect, but since the 80s.
Yeah, I believe so. Well, he used to play. I don't think he plays anymore. He didn't play this season for sure, but he still umps. His son was in minor ball. His son plays in the league now. He was a huge part of the Tommy Forrest revitalization, and he's still there all summer. He was there every day.
Wow.
Yeah, even if he's just sitting around watching a game. I mean, being involved with something that much.
That was tough this year.
And still just sitting there and watching a game. Yeah, well, from a administrative booth. You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
From the ump booth. But yeah, I mean, that guy is just... I'm glad he's getting an award, honestly. Yeah, he's a hard worker and just loves fastball and has done so much for it.
Well, and that place looks so remarkably different even from when I first got here 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago you had just I was going to say a dirt outfield. Dirt outfield might be being generous.
Yeah.
It was more a sort of a rock and shale and broken glass outfield, pretty much. It looked like the kind of outfield that you were absolutely taking your life into your own hands.
Yeah, like a modern-day tundra.
Sure,
like a downtown tundra.
Urban tundra outfield.
Urban tundra,
okay, I like that, yeah.
That's back when real men played the game, you
Right.
know?
Back-
You had to dive for a ball, and when you hit the ground, all bets are off.
These people who expect a ball to just bounce in the way you would expect a ball to bounce, what do they even... They have no part. They have no place here in Yellowknife
Grass.
fastball. Yeah.
Fastball players
So they
are all
got-
soft now.
So they got the grass sorted out, and doesn't it look amazing? Even if you don't play fastball, it just looks nice now
it's-
as a venue.
Yeah.
A fixed eyesore, especially when you're coming into downtown. That's the first thing that kind of separates downtown and uptown. So it's nice to have that really beautiful field as you come in.
Absolutely.
And they got a children's playground going in there this summer as well.
summer,
They've done the bleachers. They've got new buildings there. There's a scoreboard there now, which makes it look so professional. Now, instead of just relying on everyone who plays in the fastball league insisting that it's actually a good league, like ad infinitum to everybody's annoyance and boredom, because they take themselves so seriously. Don't get me wrong. Love Tommy Forest Ballpark. Love the fastball league. But, oh my goodness, those people are convinced that they are just a cut above every other sport in Yellowknife.
They're into it.
Yeah, they're into it.
Yeah, and there is a lot of work that goes. Like I would argue, it's up there with one of the best run leagues in town.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't,
here we go.
I don't know if
I
I'd
agree.
argue
No,
that.
I agree completely. But I just fastball league. Yeah,
it is a little intense at times.
they like. I mean, I have seen some stuff in my time, but man alive, the intensity with which the players in that league take it. It's good for them.
You know
Good
what?
For them.
I will
And
speak to that though.
Go
So I
Go
thought
on.
the same thing before I entered the league. This was my first season, and I thought the same thing coming into it. This is it's too intense. These guys are too into this. It's just rec fastball in Yellowknife. Like, why are you taking it so seriously? But when I got into it, I actually found that they didn't really take it that seriously. They just really, really, really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't anyone yelling or freaking out. There wasn't that kind of...
Yeah, it's not ultimate frisbee.
It's not ultimate frisbee, right? Like those guys are just mean out there.
And I should say that despite the fact here I am saying, oh, they take it so seriously, I have played in enough B Division Yellowknife Rec Soccer League games to know that those people exist.
Yeah.
In all levels of sport in the world, because there are people who seem to think that Yellowknife B Division on a Tuesday evening at 10:15 p.m. is the World Cup final.
There's nothing greater.
And they should just basically rake your legs and just destroy you.
So I didn't see that this season in basketball.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, like once. I don't think there was one time where I was like, okay, take it easy. Not once. So I was like, okay, I think I had a bit of a bad perception of
They
it.
maybe were just trying to impress you so that you'd speak glowingly on the air.
They knew I was with Cabin Radio.
AJ's playing now. We gotta just behave, fellas. All
the
right?
media's here.
Yeah, don't
Even
let it
though-
get out of hand.
Even though they're CBC reporters and NSL reporters.
But Cabin Radio, they love gossip. They'll be all over this tomorrow
yeah.
morning.
The
if things get out of
National
hand.
Exactly.
Inquirer of the North, as we were once memorably called. I think that was even a couple of years ago now, wasn't it? But I forget
yeah.
Yeah.
I forget even what I did to deserve that title. But you know what? I think it is still pinned up over on the other side of the studio over there.
It is, yep. National Enquirer. Yeah.
Yep.
Also owned by China. Don't forget that one.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Government funded.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. The list goes on.
Yeah.
Chinese National Enquirer of
Yeah.
the North.
Liberal, of course. That's a common one we get.
Oh, we get both of those.
We do? Oh,
Well,
okay.
we get it the other way as
Oh,
well.
do
Do we get both sides?
Oh, we get both
Wow.
sides
Oh,
of
that's
that.
good then. I'm
Look
okay
at us
with that.
being balanced.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's just great. As long as everybody hates you equally, you
Yeah.
can't be doing it wrong.
That's right.
Yeah. That means you're loved.
As long as everyone is mad at you, you're doing your job right.
That's how my family works.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
Now, there are still things, of course. I mean, we've got off relatively lightly in this whole pandemic jazz, but there are still things that we cannot quite do that I think we'd quite like to. I don't know what would be your number one in terms of if you're going to think of one thing that you could flip a switch and be allowed to do it again the way you used to do it. For certain squash players, it is actually playing squash with somebody else. Because up until now, if you were a squash player in the Northwest Territories, there were two ways of getting around this. Either, number one, you went on the court on your own and just hit a ball against a wall back to yourself for however long you liked and then went away again. or if you had someone in the same household as you who was already in the same bubble, they could come along and play as well. So that's great if you happen to live with other squash players, or it meant, at the risk of marital strife, trying to convince the partner of yours that they secretly what they've wanted to do all along is play squash against you, and then drag them off to the court. So that has all changed. Much rejoicing in the world of squash this week. Not that I've played for 4 or 5 years at least, but if you do play squash, now you can actually go with somebody else, which is very exciting. I think you're allowed to have up to 5 squash players in your squash bubble. So they've invented a whole new bubble. It's a squash bubble, and you can have 5 squash players in that, and then you can just play among those 5 people. Still can't play anybody else, can't have tournaments, things like that, but at least it's something. If there was one thing that you can't quite do right now that you would like to see released back into your life, what would it be?
I'm a bit of a toss-up. I would say volleyball, but normally the volleyball season doesn't start till, well, actually pretty soon. So
Okay.
I'd like to see that go ahead, but my other one would be live music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be the other one.
Yeah, folk festival would have been nice.
Yeah, even just like some live music at the top night, like
Yeah.
like an open mic night or
Yeah.
something like that. Like it would just, I really like those. That's the best way to sit down, relax for me, is just listen to people play music.
I think for me it would have been going home to see my family. I think we're all kind of in that same bubble, if
No.
you will.
No,
No, not you.
I just saw them in January. It usually takes a couple of years and then I go back. So I'm in my off year anyway. So this worked out pretty good.
Oh, yeah,
I would.
fair
I
enough,
always want to see my family, but
Yeah.
my normal rotation, I'm in my off year. So.
Or at least just have the freedom,
Yeah.
The option open.
Yeah, my mom
It's
actually
always
brought
nice.
that up when the pandemic started. She said, "Oh, I just wish I could be with my boys." I said, "Mom, I just left like 2 months ago. Like normally I wouldn't be here for two.
She
2 years."
misses you.
Oh, I know she's a sweetheart, but realistically, I wasn't going to be there for 2 years anyway. So
Yeah.
I think she was just feeling the pandemic pinch.
Also being able to lick your fingers.
Sorry?
Well, KFC's on the horizon.
Oh, I see.
It's finger licking good. But we can't do that anymore. It's a
Good
new
point.
world we
Well, you
live
can
in.
lick your own fingers.
Nah, not
Whoa.
with the kind of security that you used to.
That's even ill-advised before the pandemic.
It was. It really was.
I mean,
Unless you sanitize first, I guess.
with chicken
but
fat.
that doesn't taste very good.
Unless it's got aloe vera in it.
I mean, speaking of the KFC, this is far more interesting. I drove past there yesterday. They've put the frame
Structure's
up now.
going up.
Structure's going up.
Oh, the framing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
because the
Well, it still
foundation's been
says,
looking good.
it says what? Opening fall
Opening
2020
fall 2020,
on there?
and everybody's been driving past that, be like, snort,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
But now that the
Like a Yellowknife fall.
Yeah.
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 As far as construction
Spring.
goes.
That's
yeah.
right.
Which means the following year's fall.
Yeah. So everyone has been poo-pooing that as they drive past it, being like, yeah, there's no chance. And now that the framing is up, I looked at that yesterday and I thought, you know what? They've got half a chance.
Yeah.
No, not even close.
No?
Not even close.
Framing is a very easy, quick part of a project.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like the way you framed that.
Thank you. I
He
like the
did
way
it
you
easily
framed that.
and quickly, didn't he?
Quite efficiently. Yeah.
Yeah, like even a house, like you can frame in a house, in less than a month. Like it completely framed in, but that whole house could take a year to build.
Okay.
Well, what do you need more than a frame, oven, throw
Right.
some chicken in there,
Yeah, 9 different spices.
and then we're good.
Can't you just lend them the wall tent?
I could.
Hey.
Oh, can you imagine going to a wall tent to get your KFC?
Now that would be something. If Yellowknife's KFC was just a guy in a wall tent just frying away.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
You wander in, you come back out. When you get a bucket, it is genuinely a bucket. And it's just got chicken in it.
Just a metal pail.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a pail of chicken.
They don't have a freezer. It's just a bag of chicken in the ice that they just pull up every time they need it.
Well, yeah, you turn up, you bring the chicken in that you would like them to fry
Yeah, oh, yeah.
from the ice store outside.
BYOC.
They then put it in, they fry it, they put it in a pail, you carry it back out. Welcome to KFC. Can I take your order, please?
Yeah, that'd be okay.
All right, well, I'll
Yeah.
talk to them. Let's see if they're up to it, I guess.
Yeah. Might need 2 wall tents. I don't know if you're going to be able to get
Yeah.
Starbucks and KFC inside the same tent, but we can always give it a go.
That's true. We put a little tunnel between the two.
I am still fascinated to see how that's going to go. And then if it's, I'm assuming it's 2 different drive-through lines, like one
Yeah.
for Starbucks, one for KFC. I can't wait to see the first people who complete like the home run and drive through the KFC first and then swing back around into the Starbucks drive-through
man.
and then away.
I'm sure it'll be quite common.
What a
Oh,
sad procession.
But you know people will do it. You know that there will be a first person to complete to go round the bases. And I mean, obviously the big one is going to be trying to do the McDonald's, Tim Hortons, KFC, and Starbucks drive-thrus in the same trip.
Cap it off with a Ready Mart ice cream for dessert.
Oh, yeah.
See how fast. There's going to have to be some sort of, there's apps like Strava that will, I don't know if anybody here uses Strava, but it measures your speed if you're cycling and things like that. It measures, and if there are set routes, it shows you who's done the fastest time. Like if you're climbing up a hill on a bike, it'll tell you, like, here are the people who have done this the quickest.
Can we do this challenge?
There you go.
Can we run through it, but you have to finish all the food, your full order, before the clock stops?
Yeah, there's a set order that everybody has to order.
Yep.
And then you start from the moment that the person starts taking your order at the first drive-thru.
Ooh, okay.
And you finish the moment you finish your food at the last drive-thru.
Oh, I like that.
So you start at the Uptown Independent. You steal a grocery cart.
Sure.
Because, of course, you can't just walk through a drive-thru.
You need a vehicle.
That's illegal. You need a vehicle. So one of your friends sits in the grocery cart, pushes through, and then you make the loop.
That's legally a vehicle, is it? We're going with that? Okay.
It is. You can actually get a drunk driving ticket in a wheelchair because it's considered a vehicle.
Yeah.
It's not quite a stolen grocery cart, is it? But okay, yep.
I'm
frankly,
just giving you the classification for a vehicle.
Sorry,
Skateboard?
Ollie, borrow a shopping cart.
Okay,
sorry,
You'll
Rocky.
return it after.
From the Independence borrowing line that they have, where you just go up and you're like, just taking this one. They're like, okay, thanks.
Just renting.
Just bring it back.
Yeah, you just pay the insurance. And you're good to go.
Yeah, got to register it. We'll throw.
What do you think that quarter you pop in there is for?
They don't have that here. Imagine if they had that here. The chaos that would ensue.
They did one stage.
Did they?
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, when the Independent first opened up, I believe.
They soon were like, this is pointless.
Yeah.
These guys.
This is a waste of time. They don't care about loonies.
Yeah.
Well, I think they got rid of it because there were people waiting to return your cart for you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, and take the...
Yeah. Which, I mean, is, if you're looking to, make a little extra change.
That was
Some
the only
people
time
don't like
I was
returning their cart.
I mean,
I was willing to give it up, right? It's
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, here you go.
I mean, of all the ways to do that, that strikes me as a relatively...
Yeah, pretty inoffensive.
Yeah,
Totally.
relatively harmless way to be doing that.
Or I'll take
Yeah.
your cart back for you. That was a big one.
Yeah.
They show up at your vehicle as you put the last bag in. I'll take your cart back for you. Sure. There you go, man. Here's $1.
Yeah.
It's always funny when you were like 5 steps away.
Yeah.
And then
It's right there.
Yeah, but you got to jingle jangle it all the way over that
That's true.
annoying parking lot. It goes
You gotta get
it's
that.
like doing a jackhammer. It just let somebody else deal with the carpal tunnel later on. Yeah. All right. I have no idea where we started this conversation, but we've ended it discussing whether or not you should pay a loony.
Well, we've set up a relay. Or a race.
Yes, we have set up a race. Yes, when the drive-thrus open, the first to complete all 4 in the quickest time. That is an incredibly unhealthy race. We shouldn't advocate for it. It absolutely shouldn't be a thing. But we're going to do it.
Yep.
And I'm excited already. In fact, I'm going to get in training.
I might boycott it, though.
I don't recommend anything that we just suggested in this little chat.
Especially not the finger licking.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
We were just reviewing a video by the British Broadcasting Corporation. Here in Cabin Radio Studio 1, Steve Rosenberg, the BBC's Moscow correspondent of the past 10 or 15 years, sent to Siberia to do some reporting on climate change. And they put up a little behind-the-scenes video showing what it's like to report from Siberia. And it's fair to say that it's exactly like a Saturday in the Northwest Territories. Because the video documents at great length and with great suspense the idea of going down roads that may not necessarily be fully tarmac, shall we say. There are bugs. And you see him put on a bug jacket, and he refers to it as an anti-mosquito suit. You're like, all right. An anti-mosquito suit, to me, has small rockets on it that you can launch at the little buggers. But, bug jacket is an anti-mosquito suit now.
I like how he walked us through how the zipper works, too.
Yeah, he showed how you zip the face part up to stop the bugs getting in.
Struggled a little bit to, make it a little
sticky.
little more epic.
Yeah.
It's tougher when you're out there in the wilderness.
That's right, yeah.
Well,
You don't get it. You don't get it.
Yeah.
You've never been to Siberia.
No, I have not.
He had to walk through a slightly boggy patch. And he
a
had
little mud puddle.
he had a local man spraying him with bug spray. Apparently he didn't bring his own, which seems a little awkward. And then we got to the tent part, Lecter. Now, recap for us the tent part of the video.
So the tent part was arguably the most ridiculous part. He walks in, sets this epic scene like they've made camp. They're gonna hunker down for the night, and then he pulls out what looks like a pop tent. He's like, I gotta set this up. I've never set up a tent before in my life.
He says in the video out loud to the camera, as though that is anything you should be admitting as like the BBC's Russian correspondent.
A standard 2-person tent consisting of 2 poles.
2 poles. Yep.
And
Total
he's
2 poles.
looking at the instructions, thinking, this doesn't make any sense. How do I make a structure out of 2 poles and a canvas?
And
This
what
is
do I do with
ludicrous.
these pegs?
And these pegs go in the ground, but I'm not sure where.
Is a line from the video. These pegs go in the ground, but I'm not sure where.
And he's what, late 50s?
He's old enough, that boy. He's old enough. He's
Been
a
around.
senior correspondent of the
Yeah.
BBC. So, interesting video. If I were the BBC, I'm not necessarily sure that... I mean, I get why they're doing it, because to an inner-city audience,
Yes.
a lot of that is very new.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure a lot of people can actually relate to that. We scoff.
We
but
scoff.
I'm sure.
But you guys also correctly called me out a little bit, AJ, and you mentioned that, 10 years ago, before I come to the Northwest Territories, I would have sounded exactly the same. Possibly minus the tent part. I've done putting up tents before in my life. But the whole, the bugs and the general sort of bogginess and the roads in the north of the world might have been a surprise to me as well. Oh, they were a surprise when I first got here. But it is very interesting to see someone in that kind of position, should we say struggling a little bit. But it raised a question about Yellowknifers, didn't it, AJ?
It did. And is there any Yellowknifers, or is there any people in town that have never set up a tent before?
And there has to be.
There has to be. And I've had this conversation with a couple people that there are people that don't like camping, but have obviously still set up a tent because they grew up here. Sure.
Yeah.
But there are some people that just have never gone camping, have no interest in camping.
Yeah.
Even going outside, enjoying the outdoors, zero interest.
I want to know what these people do.
Oh, you'll
They're not
never.
doing
Oh, you'll
those
never
things.
see them. You'll never see them, and you'll never meet them. They're just in a
Do you
dark
think
basement.
they're listening to cabin radio right now? Are they gonna?
Radio would be up there with one of the things they may do. I'd say TV, gaming, potentially radio.
I'm glad no one is stigmatizing anyone here. I think that's important.
I'm going to go underground YouTube channels.
Ooh, yep,
Yeah. That's my guess.
that's
Okay.
a good call.
If you've never put up a tent, you are probably well-versed with YouTube.
Sure, yeah, like a Twitch person.
Perhaps, yeah.
Be pretty twitchy.
They might be a bit...
They wouldn't have had any
Yeah.
sunlight for years.
So they might have watched a video on how to put up a tent, or they will be after listening to this. And
Yeah.
Or-
They
or
should
off-grid
learn how.
homes.
Or
I think we've
about-
all been down that rabbit hole,
Well,
right?
yeah. Or about how tents are, like evil and part of some like worldwide scam or something like that. That's where I'm thinking they're headed.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just so baffled by camping. They just think it's some
It's got to be a scam.
corporate.
People can't really enjoy this, right? No, we've been conditioned to enjoy this by big canvas.
by
Canvas.
big corporations that make tents.
If this is you, if we are describing you right now, you've never put up a tent in your life. I realize that the way these other three are talking about you might make you feel somewhat picked on. We've all been
all I
out.
asked was what they do in their spare time.
What do these people do? What I want to know is what they do. They're like, all right, steady now, everyone. These
What
are
are
human
they?
beings too.
Who are
Um,
they? What are they?
Now, look, just write in to the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page and give us a bit of background here. Like, give us some insight into your lifestyle and what it is that means that you've reached whatever age you may happen to be, and have never touched a tent, never put up a tent. We're interested, and we will grant anonymity should it be required.
And even more importantly, why choose Yellowknife? Because I live here because it's so accessible to, just the middle of nowhere. You can go outside, you can enjoy the outdoors, go camping, go snowmobiling, boating, whatever you want to do. It's just right at your doorstep, no matter where you are. So if you're an introvert or you don't want to go outside or whatever, why Yellowknife? Why not like a major city
I feel like
government patron.
downtown?
Yeah, hang on, Diamond Mines. I mean, I feel like I can answer
Okay.
your question because this reminds me of an interview once done on a very tongue-in-cheek BBC late-night chat show kind of thing, kind of like Graham Norton, if you've ever seen that, but it wasn't the same. They had on the wife, the very young and attractive wife of a quite old and less attractive, shall we say, TV magician by the name of Paul Daniels.
Okay.
Consider
And,
that picture painted.
Didn't think that was where that was headed.
So the wife of this TV magician came on, and the host's opening question to this woman was, "What first attracted you to the multi-millionaire Paul Daniels?" And it became a legendary moment in British TV because the answer was very much in the question.
Yes.
And I suspect the answer is very much in the question of, what first attracted you to the diamond mining capital Yellowknife? And I suspect cash might have something to do with it.
The diamond mining, it's rotational work. So a lot of people live in Calgary. So they'll come up to the diamond mine, make their money, and then they'll live in Calgary or Edmonton, wherever that flight goes. Actually, there's a ton of people that live in Newfoundland and work at when I was at a caddy. So they'll pay for their flight.
Yeah, well, you know what? I am going to
money.
fly to Newfoundland, fish for a bit, and then come right back. And then I'm going to see any of my money or fish. I'm going to bring them all right back here, and I'm going to be a fly-in, fly-out fisherman. Is that what fly fishing is? That's fly fishing, right?
In a sense.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
I've never been, so I have to take that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to fly fish. I'm going to fly in, fly out, fish.
Yeah, I think that's what that means.
Okay, good.
As far as I know.
I'm going to get them back for that. I'm going to go down to Calgary. I'm going to rustle some cows. I'm going to fly right back.
Oh,
You think you could just hop into a paddock and rustle a cow? It's not that easy.
You just hop in, you just rustle around a little bit, you bring a cardboard bag, what am I talking, paper bag? You can't have cardboard bag.
cardboard bag.
This is very rapidly starting to
That's,
feel like the BBC version.
We're
That's
back
what
to
we
the
call
BBC.
It's gonna be
it.
a
That's
cow
what we call a
version.
box. Yes.
Video, yeah.
Steve Rosenberg on camera. Look at this cardboard bag. It's a box, Steve. It's a box. Yeah, all right. So my cow rustling might need work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to get him back for that. All right. But it's got to be the money, right? If you come to Yellowknife and you don't like the outdoors, you have to be here to earn a paycheck.
The money, yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
no.
think.
Actually, the person who had my job before me at the school board years ago never left his house. Never really made any friends in Fort Smith. He was just there, did his 2-year contract, went back to Toronto, spent most of his time on the phone with his friends from Toronto.
Which is fine.
And
There's
I
nothing
mean-
wrong with that.
This is it, right?
Made the money and left.
Yeah.
Is that sometimes also people make life decisions that maybe don't turn out the way they thought they would.
I actually have two houses down. My neighbor's moving, and she said, Yellowknife, I've enjoyed my time here. She's been here for about 5 years. She said, it's just not for me. I'm going to head back to the island. I said, yeah, fair enough.
And that's all right. I
Can't
think we've
fault you for
probably
that.
all had moments in life where we sort of made a decision to do something and then thought, actually, you know what? I should probably go do something else.
Yeah, this is like
And
the
it's okay.
5th time I've come back to Yellowknife. It seems to be sticking this time.
But what you probably didn't do in that situation was make a behind-the-scenes video about it.
Or start a radio station.
Or start a radio station. All right, no, that's fair. That's fair. Here I am on the radio now with my cardboard bag. Started to look like a bit of a Wally, if we're honest. So maybe we should end the show.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.